This is Nigel Adderley with the newsroom. Former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan has a jail sentence suspended, but may not be freed.
Outside court, Imran Khan's lawyers and supporters cheered and chanted, but their celebrations may be premature. Imran Khan may be arrested on other cases before he sets foot outside a prison.
A report into air quality highlights the issues faced in regions such as South Asia.
There are days and weeks that schools can be closed, that people just don't go into their offices, that even transportation becomes difficult because visibility is poor and just the smog.
And China responds to Japanese claims of harassment linked to the release of water from the Fukushima nuclear plants.
China always protects the safety and legitimate rights and interests of foreigners in China in accordance with the law.
You're listening to the BBC World Service.
Hello, I'm Emily Thomas with the BBC News. The head of the Sudanese military is in Egypt for talks with President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. It's the first time General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan has left Sudan since intense fighting erupted in April between the army and rival paramilitary forces. Will Ross reports.
The Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is an ally of the Sudanese army leader, but as far as we know, he's not given significant military support during the war. Egypt is worried about an even greater influx of refugees should the fighting in Sudan continue, and so may keep pushing for dialogue. General al-Burhan said he wants to fight on, but could come under pressure to try negotiations. The war is having a terrible impact on civilians. Reports have just come out of an attack last week in Yala town in Darfur. Eyewitnesses say dozens of people were seeking shelter from the fighting under a bridge. The Sudanese army then shelled it, killing 39 of them, including many women and children.
A Pakistani court has suspended Imran Khan's 3-year jail sentence for corruption. The former Prime Minister was found guilty earlier this month of concealing information about state gifts he had received and selling them for as much as $600,000. Caroline Davis reports from Islamabad.
Outside court, Imran Khan's lawyers and supporters cheered and chanted. The former Prime Minister has had his jail sentence suspended in what's known as the Toshakana case until the result of his appeal is heard. He was found guilty of not declaring state gifts in jail for 3 years at the start of this month. Imran Khan may be arrested on other cases before he sets foot outside a prison. Ahead of today's results, there were already requests issued for his arrest in other cases. His lawyers have tried to block the evidence to bring court. They hope that this request will be heard soon. But if it's not successful, it's likely Mr. Khan will still remain in prison.
An outbreak of Legionnaire's disease in Poland is now known to have killed at least 14 people. Nearly 160 others in the city of Rzeszów are being treated in hospital. Adam Easton reports.
Most of the people who died were elderly, and all were suffering from other chronic illnesses. They became infected by inhaling the bacteria from contaminated water, perhaps by taking a shower or flushing the toilet. Legionnaire's disease is not transmitted by drinking contaminated water. It's still not clear how the bacteria got into the water, but initial tests do not conclude the city's water supply network was the cause. However, additional chlorine has been added to the city's water as a precaution.
At least 10 people have been killed in renewed clashes between local militias and government troops in the Amhara region of Ethiopia. Residents of the city of Dabra Tabor told the BBC that fighting began over the weekend. The city's main hospital was damaged by heavy artillery. BBC News. Officials in the United States say Tropical Storm Idalia has strengthened into a hurricane, warning it could cause death and destruction. It's passing Cuba, where the authorities have declared alerts in several western provinces. State media on the island say about 8,000 people have left their homes to seek shelter. The Vatican has sought to clarify recent remarks by Pope Francis that have provoked a fierce backlash in Ukraine for seeming to praise Russian imperialism. The Pope praised aspects of what he called Great Mother Russia on Friday, speaking to a forum of young Russian Catholics in St. Petersburg. Here's Danny Eberhard with more.
Speaking by video link at the forum, Pope Francis called the worshippers the heirs to a great Russia. He described the Russian Empire as an enlightened place of great culture and humanity. It enraged Ukraine. A foreign ministry spokesman in Kiev said Russia's imperialist ideas were the reason for what he described as Russia's chronically aggressive behaviour. A Vatican spokesman said the Pope's comments were certainly not intended to exalt imperialist logic. The Pope has consistently opposed Russia's war in Ukraine, but the Kremlin called the comments very gratifying.
Investigators looking into widespread allegations of sexual abuse by one of Japan's best-known music producers say the agency he founded must do more to make amends. External investigators hired by the agency set up by the late Johnny Kitagawa concluded that he had repeatedly abused numerous boys over the course of decades. They said the abuse was ignored by members of Mr. Kitagawa's family who worked alongside him. A chess cheating scandal which escalated into a $100 million lawsuit has been resolved. The former world champion Magnus Carlsen and the American Hans Niemann say they put their dispute behind them and are open to competing against each other again. Carlsen accused Niemann of cheating at a tournament last year. BBC News.
12:06 GMT, you're listening to the newsroom from the BBC World Service with me, Nigel Adderley. A court in Pakistan has ruled in favour of the former Prime Minister Imran Khan, who had asked for the suspension of a 3-year jail sentence for concealing information about state gifts and selling them. But does that mean that Mr. Khan will be set free? Speaking outside the court, his lawyer, Gauhar Khan, said he hopes so.
We are very hopeful he would be released. So far, we have not been informed that he is under arrest in any other case. If they are going to arrest him in other cases, our strategy is already online. We have filed cases in the High Court and Supreme Court, and we are seeking the court to restrain the prosecution for arresting him in any other case. And soon, inshallah ta'ala, Imran Khan would be out of jail in this case.
I asked our correspondent in Islamabad, Caroline Davis, what today's meeting means for Mr. Khan.
In the reality of whether he's coming out of jail or not, it might not make any difference at all. His lawyers appeared in front of court today. They were told that his jail sentence has now been suspended. That is until the appeal is heard and then decided about this particular case, which, as you mentioned, is the Toshikana case. So this is the case that he was found guilty of at the beginning of this month. That he was found guilty of not having declared the money that he gained from selling state gifts. He is no longer in prison because of that particular reason and that particular case. However, there are multiple other cases against Imran Khan, and many of those also have warrants out for his arrest too. So when we initially spoke to his lawyers after this result, they said that they were planning to go and try and get bail on all of these other cases to stop him from being arrested again immediately and staying within jail. Then within a matter of sort of 20 minutes or so, it became clear that there was already an arrest warrant that had been in place while he's been in prison on another case altogether, which technically runs out tomorrow when we are expected to hear another case with Imran Khan. But I think it became increasingly clear that Imran Khan is probably very unlikely to be coming out of jail. Even his own lawyers started saying that the chance of him getting out was about 30% chance. And I think with this sort of discovery and realisation that this other case already meant that he was going to have to stay in jail, they really thought, well, actually, it's going to be quite difficult to try to get this form of bail to get him released. So the reality is, despite this sentence being temporarily suspended until his appeal is heard, it looks very unlikely that Imran Khan is coming out of jail anytime soon.
And his long-term aim, of course, is to try and stand in elections again. Does today make any difference for that aim?
No, not at all. At the moment, the sentence still stands. That appeal has not been heard. Imran Khan is still disqualified, and at the moment we still don't have a date set for the general elections in Pakistan, even though we currently have a caretaker government which takes over in the months preceding an election, but still no election date. Imran Khan is still very much disqualified.
And just finally, how much visible support was there for him outside court today?
There was support from his lawyers who came out chanting and cheering. There were some supporters there, but this is not the sort of mass demonstration or support that we've seen before the 9th of May when he was arrested on the first occasion. He used to visit Zaman Park, Imran Khan's home in Lahore, and there would almost always be some people, some of his supporters, standing around outside the house cheering and chanting for him. And of course, of the months after the 9th of May, when he was released from the few days that he initially spent in jail back then, you saw a complete change. You didn't see those crowds outside his house. When he was arrested again in August, you did not see the protests that we saw on the 9th of May.
Caroline Davis. New research on air quality and its impact on people's health makes for grim reading. On average, air pollution can take more than 2 years off life expectancy. And that increases significantly if you live in China, Nigeria and South Asia. Our South Asia correspondent Samira Hussain told us more about the findings of this report.
Basically, if you are breathing poor air, it can wipe out anywhere from 1 to 6 years off your life expectancy. And in some areas, that's actually more than the adverse effects of smoking, of HIV/AIDS, and of even malnutrition. It's really quite significant, and it's pretty startling to see that in, just documented in this report.
And how does air pollution affect daily life for, say, an average person in India?
In India, you have different seasons. You have the monsoon season, and then you also have pollution season. And having seen, the air pollution happen in other parts of the